Kansas State this year was really interesting. There's a lot of Olympic hopefuls there, so it's kind of intimidating when it comes down to like your race. You don't really know who's going to be in your heat. There wasn't finals for the hurdles, so you just kind of pretty much best time wins sort of thing. So I was in the heat. I was lucky enough to be in the fast heat, so I was able to compete with the faster girls. I ended up getting second and beat a few Kansas State girls and some Oklahoma State girls and stuff, and it was really interesting. My time wasn't as good as I thought I'd liked it to be, but you know, like for me to get second with a time that's not near what it was last year, definitely kind of sets my sights for this year and kind of builds my confidence. And the team as a whole did really well. Like our girls 4x4 broke the school record coming out for the first meet, and something last year we were like 2 seconds off from, so being able to beat it like 2 seconds by 2 seconds this year is really awesome. And we actually were running it with a similar same team as we were last year, so it's really interesting to see that happen. And I think everyone did really well. So.
A lot of athletes going to a meet like that are the underdogs, if you will, but you're an All-American returner. Do you kind of have the target on your back sometimes, having that designation?
It's hard going to Division I meets for indoor because no one really knows who you are, especially coming from an NAIA school and a new Division II school. They don't really know who the All-Americans were from NAIA. They really honestly have no idea to even care who the All-Americans were from NAIA. So it's actually more of an intimidation. Even though I was an All-American, no one really knows. Unless I go to a conference meet, no one really knows who I am. So I still have to kind of like make my name out, put my name out there, and do really well, no matter what meet I'm at. So.
What does that designation mean to you, though, personally, to be named an All-American?
It means a lot because my freshman year, I always thought, you know, All-American, that would be awesome if I could just get up there. I went to Nationals my freshman year. I think I placed like 32nd in the hurdles. My junior year, I went to Nationals, maybe top 20s. I'm not really even sure. But then that was my sophomore year, to go in my junior year and to kind of just... I was hoping to be top 10 my junior year, and then I went in, made finals, top 8 made finals, and I was like, oh, I just have to beat 2 girls to be All-American, and I ended up getting 5th, and actually my 55-meter hurdle time was an 8.74 going into finals, and then I ended up, my 60-meter hurdle time, which is obviously 5 meters longer, ended up being an 8.74 after nationals, so it was awesome. It was a really, really good meet. And my sister is actually a national champion in the pole vault in NAIA, two-year national champion. And so it was kind of nice to kind of get my name up there. You know, my family is used to having her as a national champion. I just hope to do, you know, a little bit like that. And it was nice. It was nice to become an All-American in a really fast, quick event. So track's really the only sport I've ever played. I grew up, you know, I danced. I didn't really do anything else. I did some cheerleading. Track's really the only sport that I ever did. And my family is huge into track. Like my sister was, like I mentioned, a 2-time national champion from Oklahoma Baptist. And then my little brother actually runs at Southwest Baptist in Bolivar. And my dad, like growing up, he was kind of like my coach for the long jump and the hurdles. And he kind of told me like what to fix. And I'm from a small school, so I've never really been blessed with like amazing coaches until now at Jewel. So it's kind of nice. Like my dad was able to coach me up, and I did a lot of research on my own because of that. So. It's definitely something that I've definitely taught myself a lot when it comes to track and field, and so I like the fact that it's very, this is kind of weird to say this, but it's a very painful, enduring sport. Like you have to put yourself through pain in order to win, and that's definitely not something that, I mean, I could see how football could be kind of put in that category, but it's definitely like if you want to win the 400, you kind of have to really hurt yourself in order to win a 400, and it's definitely different from other sports. You have to. It's a speed and power sport. I like that because when it comes to like real technical sports, I tend to not do very well at. But I definitely like the speed and power aspect of it.
You get ready for a race, any race. What's kind of your pre-race preparation?
I just need to get in the mindset. It's hard. This first meet was definitely hard coming in because I'm used to just focusing on school. You know, this is our first meet of the year. Meets are very tough mentally. You know, you get done with one event, you can't just sit there and relax. You got to get ready and go to the next event. Especially last year at conference and nationals, I was doing the pentathlon and the hurdles and the long jump, and so I was at conference. I think I ran a total of maybe 14 events last year, And so it's hard for me to like, I can't just, after one, I can't just be like, okay, now I get to sit and like relax and take a break. I got to keep going, re-warm up, and it's really tough mentally because you have to prepare yourself mentally for so many different types of events, and you've really got to stay focused because one little thing, like the 55-meter hurdles is one of the quickest races, and if you even nick a hurdle the tiniest bit, it puts you back places. So I actually, most of the time, I can't remember what I'm thinking of during the races. A lot of my races are a lot shorter. The longer races I run is the 800, and that's when it comes to the multis. I'll run the 800 and that, and I can tell that my mind's wandering to. It's not really wandering on other things. It's more of just like, oh, this hurts. You know, I gotta push, and I really kind of try to focus on, you know, the girl in front of me. Just kind of look at her back and kind of stare her down, and just kind of keep going from there. When it comes to my other events, though, like most of the time I can't even recall what I thought during the race. You know, Coach Tom will come up to me afterwards and be like, well, what do you think about this hurdle? And I was like, I don't know. I don't remember the race at all. So it's pretty interesting. It's hard to critique yourself when you don't know what you're doing wrong.
Sarah, you talk about the pain thing, and I think that would probably come as a surprise to a lot of people, but what's something else that people don't know about being a track and field athlete that you think they should?
I think the whole, you know, mind game is very important in track, and I think a lot of people kind of think, oh, you know, they're just running, you know, they're just jumping, you know, that can't be hard. But just if you were to have had a bad jump, you have to be able to, or a bad hurdle race, you have to be able to set your mind, you know, okay, it's okay, like, I'm fine, I can get up and go on from there. And I think track's a huge mind game, and it's hard to get past that, you know, especially, I consider myself a perfectionist, and there's some times where I get really, really tough on myself, and there's other athletes out there that do the same thing, but to get up and to come after a bad race to just kind of focus and try to do well the rest of the meet, you just want to give up, you don't want to keep going, and it's really hard. It's a real tough mind game.
Do you have role models in the sport?
I think that I really, you know, when it comes to like professional track athletes, I watch it and I keep in tune with it, but I think my real role model would be my sister, because we have the same, you know, perfectionist attitude, and it's really hard, you know, in track to be a perfectionist because you're really hard on yourself. And I think watching my sister, you know, kind of overcome that was really good. And I think as this team aspect, Logan Petz is amazing when it comes to track. He's always a hard worker, and he's kind of like me. He's got a really, really tough major too, so it's not like he's all about track. And he's definitely one to like look forward, you know, to kind of see how he can still stay motivated for track when he's got such a tough major, and that's something that I try to do myself, but Logan is amazing at it.
Let's talk about your major a little bit, because the nursing major here is so tough, and it seems especially for athletes to do all the training you need to do, plus do all your classwork.
Mm-hmm. It's really tough, and I honestly, some people come up to me and they ask me, you know, I don't know how you do it, you know, how do you do it? Because there's girls in my major that don't play sport, you know, they might have a little like, you know, part-time job or something like that, but I don't see how I do it sometimes, to be honest. But it's definitely nice having Coach Tom as a coach, because his wife is a nurse, and she went to the nursing program at Jewel, so he knows exactly what it's like. And you know, there's times where I'll text him and I'll be like, you know what, like I literally don't think I can practice today. Like I have to, you know, I have to study, and he'll work with me. He'll let me practice at other times, and it's tough. Like I deal with working night shifts at hospital throughout the week too. Like for example, last week I worked Tuesday night and Thursday night, 12-hour shifts throughout the night, and Tom was able to work with me with that and kind of help me practice earlier in the morning, so I, you know, sleep in the afternoon, you know, that sort of thing. And it's definitely tough, and it's something that I will probably graduate and look back at 5 years from now and wonder how I did it. But we get really good support from our team, support from the school, from my nursing professors are amazing. You know, Coach Tom's amazing, my friends are amazing, and they really help me out. I do better when I'm more busy with things. Like if track season, my grades are better because I'm more focused, and I have the more focused and determined attitude during track season. So it actually helps my grades out too.
I asked you about your track icons or people that you look up to. What about in your personal life? Who do you look up to?
I would say, you know, I would say my sister again, just because she has always been close to me growing up. She's a year and a half older than me, and she's very, you know, motivated. She's very, she gets really, like, she's just an amazing person all around, and despite the busy schedule she had with her school and track and everything, and I try to kind of focus myself to that type of personality, because I know that how people viewed her as a great person all around, not just a great athlete, and I kind of hope that people look at me the same way. And so I kind of look at her, and she's kind of like my role model when it comes to all aspects of life, not just track and field. I'm from Odessa, and I have a little brother. He is a freshman at Southwest Baptist, and an older sister who is actually graduated from Oklahoma Baptist. She works in California right now. And then I also have my oldest brother, who's 34, who is getting his engineering degree at Arizona State University. My mom and my dad still live in Odessa, Missouri. I also have many cousins, many aunts, many uncles, all from Odessa. It's interesting to look back at Odessa records, because when you go to the Odessa High School track and field record board, you'll see Shippy on the girls and the boys side for my little brother, and it's kind of cool. And TC, who's my little brother, he was really good in track, and it's just interesting to see that family history back there, because it's not just track and field, and we have like a lot of family members who are amazing at wrestling and football, and so it's cool to see that small town family experience back there. So
you're driven to be a great student, you're driven to be a great athlete to the point of pain, as you were saying. Do you have time to be a college kid at all?
I do. I am in a sorority. I'm in a Delta Zeta, and that definitely kind of helps me out with my free time. Kind of focuses me to have a little fun in my free time, and not just, sometimes I'm a little bit hard on myself. I don't get any sleep, sometimes, and I have my, sorority sisters who are able to, help me out, go get something for me if I'm sick, or if I need, someone to go grab me food or something if I don't have time to get any food, and so they kind of help me along the aspect, and they also help me so much when it comes to just free time and just relaxing, and telling me to take a break and stuff like that, and so they're amazing.
Finally, what's the best thing about being a student and a student athlete at Jewel?
I think the best thing about being a student athlete at Jewel is that it's not all about academics or athletics. I love the fact that their student athletes at William Jewell are very well rounded. They don't only want to be an athlete; they want to also be a student, and also it comes to the professors and the coaches. They know that we are student athletes and not just athletes. And I think at any other Division I school or Division II school, and especially Division I schools, to definitely lose sight of that. And it's tough for the students to have to put athletics first, and then it's also tough for the professors to think that academics come first. And so we get a really well-rounded staff that works with us, and they know that we're here and on scholarship, and we also love our sport as much as we love learning in our major, so it all works out really well.